Hello everyone, I want to introduce today a special set of male adapters that we've developed specially for these Multiplus II inverters. The reason why is because we found that most installers and electricians prefer this sprague style of connection to the machine from a trunking going into the machine, and then they can have it nicely closed off and can't pull anything apart. So the problem, if I may call it that, is that Victron supplies you with these grommet style connection through the chassis of the machine. Nothing really wrong with that. You snip off the top part of it to the appropriate size, and then you can use whatever like a Surfix wire or flat twin to go in, and then that can be held securely in place with these cable retention mechanisms up there. As I say, nothing really wrong with that. It's just really not that easy to make it look neat, and for that reason I'm sure most guys prefer to do this. So the problems that are there because of this style of grommet is the spacing required by this is very little. It really just needs to be held in place by the edge of that steel, and then there's no real retention on here for the grommet itself. And what guys end up doing, installing a male adapter, you need a nut on the other end to hold it in place, so you screw it in on the other side. And the problem there is the spacing on this machine is quite small. There's really not much room for a nut, and that's one of the issues. On the very end here, the metal part bending over also leaves no room for this first male adapter to go in. So again, I'm sure Victron didn't intend for male adapters to be used, or even glands to be used in here, since there isn't enough room provided. But since many of us want to do it in this fashion, something like this could address that problem. So the one male adapter we have found that gets pretty close is this one. It's a flush finish from the top to the bottom. The nut, in other words, is really small. It is also quite weak because of it, but it gets closest to what we want. Still, you can't put two of these next to one another. They kind of push each other away, and this nut does break, so it's not ideal. And also, again, it doesn't fit in this first one, and you will always use or want to use the first one. So what we've ended up doing in the past is cutting the one side off of it and then making it fit like that. So onto what the male adapter we've developed does is it allows you to install them really closely next to one another. It's got a flat edge on the one side, if I can maybe focus there. It's got a flat edge, right? It's got a nice thick thread on the top of it, so it's also a lot less prone to stripping when you screw it in. The nut end of it we've developed so that it is swappable or flippable. So if you look at the end of that, maybe again focusing there, you'll see it's got a little Z profile. So what this allows you to do is you can start off on the one end and have the nut facing one way, and the next one you'll flip it over and face the other. So this this allows you to put them really close to one another, and then again with the edges being flattened off, they can be pretty much next to one another. And then any of the spacing issues on this whole section is addressed. So that's one of the first things. Of course, some other standard features we included is just having some notches on there, and you can do the typical electrician trick where you use a flat edge screwdriver and then pretty much rotate the thing in. It's also flat enough to fit in between there. You know, if your fingers can't get in there, how are you supposed to turn it? Again, flat screwdriver fixes that problem, no issue whatsoever. Further through that, what the male adapter also has is it'll lock the sprague in place. So because we know this is what we would like to do on this machine, this is really held in there quite well, and you can rip it apart if you pull pretty hard. Right, so that is having some clips in there, 4 of them, and when you press this in, what you could do is you could build your pipes all complete and then stick them in and then tighten the nuts off, and then you know this is pretty well secured, so you eliminate the need for using any glue. It does spin freely, so it's not like it's a press fit only. It is mechanically locked in, and you can't pick that up or pull it out. Something we really want. All right. Only other thing to mention maybe on the design, or what we wanted to do here, is you get 2 of these each, a red and a blue one, for the battery side of things, and we intentionally made this a different shape and color so that the whole look of the machine is balanced out, if I can. If you were to keep these the same color and same length, it would be fairly obvious that the whole spacing at the top isn't the same. So it would look like you made a mistake. That's in essence what would happen, since the spacing here is fairly similar up to this point. They are actually quite a little bit different, but it's fairly similar, and when you reach here it's going to be a lot different. So by making this a longer one and a different color, we show that it's intended to be this way, and the whole machine looks nice and balanced. Other than that, there's nothing really much more to mention. Perhaps just can go over the trunking. We provide with a kit that we sell. We will provide you 12 of these black adapters, and then 2 red ones, 2 blue ones, and as well we'll provide you one of these little templates that's got the funny hole spacing on there, and all you need to do then is stick this on the top of your trunking, metal permanent marker, a step drill, and then you can precisely drill your holes at the bottom and make them nice and parallel, so there's no skew pieces of trunking or sprague there. The last thing then would be that the trunking sizes, we recommend something like a 60 by 100 trunking for there. Obviously you can't wire your AC and DC together in the same trunking. The intention for this is just for it to look really neat, but you should really keep a divide in there. DC wiring to go off that way, AC wiring to stay on this side. Just we want it to look neat on one piece, and then just put your divide in between. Something like a 50 by 100 would still work. 40 by 100 is probably too thin. We've got a test piece here to show you perhaps. Yeah. So this, you might see there is really not a lot of room. If you look at from the edge of this, there's not enough room to get a nut in there, and the other side of it is on the lid of the trunking, so you wouldn't be able to put any kind of adapter in here unless you glued it, or again try to modify it somehow. So you might be able to use this if you really wanted a really low profile on the wall there. You could still do it, just you would probably need to glue these in again. So would recommend something like a 50 by 100. Probably you could do something like 250 by 50s on top of one another, and you can nicely split your DC wiring again if you needed to go the same direction. But recommend really something like this. The 60 gives you ample space. So I think that's pretty much it. If you've got any questions, comments, please do pop us a mail or drop them in the comments of this video. The kit will be available on our site, listed as Multiplus II installation kit or Multiplus II Pro installation kit. And what it will include, as I mentioned, is the sprague pipes, the blue, 2 of them, 2 red ones, and 12 of the black ones that you can put top and bottom there, as well as the little template. Now, hopefully that makes things way easier. I know most clients appreciate a really neat installation, and this allows you to do so quickly. So I hope that helps. I hope that's something you have been looking for. And yes, if there's any specific things you want us to look at as well, we are looking at doing some kits for the MPPTs. Those have also been a bit of a pain point. Getting those into a trunking neatly has been a challenge in the past. Normally we would use glands. In this case, we're busy developing something that's just one unit, clamping all the wires in. No need to cut any trunking. It's just pop it on and you're done. So look out for that. Otherwise, yeah, we look forward to hearing from you and hope this solves one of your problems. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.